Hello guys, Ben Petty here and welcome to this live stream and welcome to episode 4 of the creators interview. And today we're going to be interviewing that Crohn's chick, Sharnii from that Crohn's chick. So you guys, I'm just going to invite her now. So if you guys will also, if you haven't already, go and check her out. The link to her YouTube and social medias is in the description of the description below. So if I'm just going to invite, I'm going to invite her now, and she should be with us soon. Right, just need to send her the link, and then it's currently midnight in the UK right now, but I will be with you shortly. I mean, I'll be with you, so I'm only be streaming for about an hour, but I'm gonna send her the link now. So you guys, I can't copy and paste it because I need to log into my Twitter but I've got it on my mobile, so I'm gonna have to type it out. But if I haven't mentioned already, she's gonna be sharing her story. So if you're in the chat, let me know. You can see me or hear me. I'm just gonna type hi in the chat and see if it actually does. Come on, because I've got a bot set up. See if that works. Okay. Need to connect with my account, for God's sake. 4 L. Okay, I'm gonna have to connect. Sorry guys, to my bot because I set it up. So yeah. Is the YouTube bot connected? No, it's not. Right, let's see if that works now. It says successfully connected, so I hope it comes up in the chat alright for you guys. But I've sent her link, so she should be joining us very shortly. Oh, the link doesn't work apparently. Hi Brie Unikitty, sorry. I'm just trying to invite the person, the guest on, sorry. Guys, just hang on for a minute. I'll be back in 1 second. Guys, if you can in the chat, welcome. Can you hear me? Bree Unikitty, hello. Creator Spotlight, hello. Sun Ocean Vibes, hello. Stream Elements, hello. Oh yeah, I sent you, Bree Unikitty, the mod from last when you were the guest on my stream. Can you hear me? Just let me know. See me? So I just need to log into my Twitter, and so I can invite our guest. I'll be 1 second, guys. Okay, I'm just gonna send her the link. Should work, yep. Okay, so she should be joining us fairly soon. Well, I've just sent the link over because apparently the link didn't work. But great, Brenda. Hello, Brenda. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for popping in. Oh yes, Sun Ocean Vibes, Dala. Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Welcome.
Good to see you. Hi.
How are you?
Not too bad. How are you? You said you were a bit tired.
Yeah, I'm all right.
That's good. That's good. I told some of my friends, so if you see some new faces in your chat, they're probably from me.
Okay. Could you just start by telling your story?
So why I do my YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so for those who don't know me, I'm Sharnii. I have a YouTube channel called That Crohn's Chick, and I talk about chronic health, and I host a chronic health talk show pretty much every day of the week. So we talk about all topics, any chronic health issue, not just Crohn's. And yeah, I invite people up from either my audience, from other YouTube channels, Facebook, Twitter, and sometimes I even get medical health and healthcare professionals on the channel to talk about the really important topics that affect people who suffer with chronic health. That's what I do.
Okay. But I just got. Sorry if I'm a bit awkward.
Pardon?
Sorry if I'm a bit awkward. I'm just because I've not done many interviews. If there's pauses or anything.
Okay, that's okay.
So, how did you adjust to your chronic illnesses? Or
Okay, so like how I like kind of overcame them to do interviews and all of that, like doing the YouTube, because I do have bad days as well. Like last week I didn't live stream at all. I was just really, really sick. I spent the week in bed. But yeah, I think it's really great. Hello everyone in the chat. It's really great because every day I get to connect with people from all over the world and talk about chronic health and just life in general. Like half the time, like especially with my co-host, one of them's in the chat, Ben on Adventures. He's a co-host on my channel. Half the time we're just jibber jabbering about stuff that isn't even related. We do mostly talk about chronic health, but sometimes we're also really good friends, so we will have a good chat. And yeah, so it's all good. Yeah, it's all good, guys. So hello, Brenda Kitty. Hello, Brenda Klein. Hello, everyone else in the chat. It's nice to meet you all.
what are your diagnoses?
So what illnesses do I have?
Yeah.
I have the main ones, obviously, from my name is Crohn's disease, which is an autoimmune disease that attacks my guts. I also have something called inflammatory arthritis, where now my immune system attacks my muscles and joints. I'm also anemic. I have IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, and I have a couple of other health issues as well, like a sleep apnea and like hay fever. So I have quite a few. But the main sort of ones that I kind of highlight the most would be the Crohn's and the arthritis, as well as the IBS.
What does your or how do your illnesses affect you in terms of day-to-day living?
It makes it very hard some days. Like the inflammatory arthritis affects my muscles and joints, so sometimes I have trouble even walking. Some days I won't be able to lift this mug because my joints and my hands and all that hurt too much. Yeah, I can't walk properly. I can't get out of bed. That happened to me last week. I was really, really sick, and yeah, that's the arthritis and whatnot. The Crohn's disease, a lot of the time you feel it the most when you're eating. You have a lot of trouble eating. You get sweats. You're much more prone to getting infections, constant headaches, very dehydrated. It's always very dehydrated and sore. So a lot of the time it affects everything pretty much. Like from the second I get up in the morning till I go to bed, even when I'm sleeping, it affects the way I sleep. It's a bit of a pain. It can be very hard to have a normal life because, we make the joke on my channel. I'm always aware of where a bathroom is. With Crohn's, unfortunately, you do go to the bathroom a lot and sometimes you do have accidents. So whenever I'm out and about, there's like a little process I have to make sure that there's always a bathroom nearby. And so it does impact your entire life, the illnesses that I have.
What does having a chronic illness entail in terms of medical visits and medications?
It usually means it depends on severity. There's some people that have chronic illnesses, but it doesn't kind of like hit them like a truck. It doesn't like dominate their whole lives. They learn to be able to incorporate it into their lifestyle. Then there's people like me who need constant medical supervision. There's always a complication. There's multiple illnesses to manage at the same time. So there's multiple specialists. You got to look for a good GP. I'm on medications that suppress my immune system to try and stop my immune system from attacking my body, which makes me very leery of going out in public because, there's bugs everywhere and I don't want to get sick. So you have a very strong, or at least you should have a very strong relationship between your specialists and your doctors. So there's a lot involved. Yeah.
When you're having a flare, is there anything others can do to help your day get a bit easier?
Like how other people can support me? Was that the question?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, unfortunately. There's not much you can do. You're kind of stuffed. A lot of the time when you get a flare up or when you're really sick, you basically just need bed rest. Some of the things that help is, some things that I occasionally won't be able to do on my own. So, for example, I may not be able to do my grocery shopping, or, if I've got a family event coming up, I may not be able to get to it on my own because I don't drive. I catch public transport. So that's the sort of thing, where other people can help and just support in general. If you know someone's sick, someone you care about is sick, get a little educated about it, work out what the symptoms are. There are some little tricks you can do to help someone. Like I love a hot water bottle. I always got a hot water bottle nearby for my tummy or, lying in bed. But little things like that impair you to be able to do normal things like everyone else does, like grocery shopping and all of that. That really helps if you can have someone that can, either hop out and get things for you or they can take you out to get them. Yeah, little things like that. A lot of time just ask to see if they need anything.
When you're having a bad day, are there things others should avoid saying that might be hurtful or disrespectful without them knowing?
Oh, that's a bit of I've done an entire live stream about that with my co-host Alana from Glittery Guts, what not to say to chronic health patients, because there's so many. I don't know. I don't get as offended as what some of my friends do. One thing I would definitely ask you to avoid saying is you don't look that sick. Definitely don't say that. A lot of the time it comes from a place of like, wow, you have all these health issues, and people looking at me now go, wow, you're perky, you're talkative, you don't look sick. And yet I've got a splitting headache I've had for about 3 days. I haven't eaten yet because my stomach feels really sick, and my right hand, I can't lift anything with it or put any pressure on it at the moment. And that's me just sitting here talking. I look normal. You learn to hide it, you learn to get on with it. So definitely don't tell someone that they don't look sick. That's an instant moment. You'll get some very defensive responses from someone. Besides that, just talk to the person, ask them questions about it. Try not to give unsolicited advice, because we've probably heard it and we've probably tried it. So just ask what you can do and ask questions about it, and we'll let you know basically what's going on. Yeah.
When were you given your official diagnosis?
Well, for my physical health issues, I've got mental health as well. I've got PTSD and anxiety, chronic anxiety. So the mental health I've had pretty much my whole life, since early childhood. When it comes to the physical health, I was diagnosed about 3-4 years ago with my Crohn's. And I've only just been recently, in the process of being diagnosed with inflammatory arthritis.
Did your diagnosis take a long time Did it take a long time to get diagnosed?
Yeah, it did. It took about 2 years. 2 years. And they told me for 2 years that it was stress, it was all in my head, and it was IBS. Unfortunately. So with Crohn's and like those sort of gut issues, a lot of the time they can only actually find out what it is when you get a colonoscopy. So yes, that is the camera up the butt. They check your lower intestine and your GI tract to see if there's any inflammation. And it turned out my whole large intestine is inflamed and diseased and has issues. So yeah, it took a while. IBS is commonly misdiagnosed for it. But eventually we got to a colonoscopy and an endoscopy, and they found the Crohn's. So yeah, it took about 2 years to work it out. And I literally thought I was going crazy. Like, I thought I was going insane. It was all in my head. And yeah, it turns out it wasn't. I am actually very, very sick. So it's actually, funnily enough, it was kind of a relief when I got my diagnosis. I know it's kind of weird to say. I get a lot of people go, huh? But it's because leading up to that, I was just sick and I had no idea what was wrong with me. And finally, like, once you get diagnosed, okay, you can work with that. You can research it. You get your specialists. You get, And so, yeah, I was actually relieved when I got diagnosed. A couple of years later, it's still a bit shit. But it's okay. You get on with it. You got to get on with life. So, yeah, it took about 2 years. But just for the Crohn's. The arthritis is taking even longer.
What tests did they do to get the diagnosis?
They will basically test you for everything else before they get to that conclusion. So it's blood tests, it's stool tests, they check your diet. They will do, mostly it's a blood test that they'll do. They'll examine your abdomen, they'll do x-rays, MRI, CTs, all this sort of thing to check. They pretty much rule out everything else until they get to the final point, which is an endoscopy and a colonoscopy. And that's where they do a scope. They have the camera that either goes down your throat or they go up your butt. And they take biopsies and they do scopes and they see where the inflammation is. And that's how you actually get diagnosed.
What was your initial reaction to hearing you have the illnesses you have?
Relief, funnily enough, because I thought I was going nuts. I thought I was going crazy. It was a bit of relief. It was like, okay, cool. It's not all in my head, because I've got PTSD. I've got anxiety. So having IBS is not uncommon when you've got severe mental health and when you're stressing. A lot of it, PTSD and anxiety, is a stress response. and it's a chronic stress response. And so, yeah, I was actually relieved. So I'm like, cool, I'm not schizophrenic. I'm not going insane. Wonderful. And then afterwards, it's like, crap. I've now got a chronic health issue that's going to be with me for the rest of my life. The medications you get put on are insane. And it's likely that in the next 5 to 10 years, I will have surgery to have my colon removed. And I'll have to live with a bag and whatnot, like a stoma and whatnot. So afterwards, yeah, it was a bit like, oh, no, not another thing. But initially, it was relief. It wasn't all in my head.
What sort of symptoms do you or have you experienced?
Oh God, there's so many. There's so many. How do I put it? I try to explain it like imagine having you know what gastro is? You get a tummy bug.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're like vomiting, you get nausea, you get headaches, you get dehydrated, you get stomach pain, you're constantly on the toilet. Imagine that, but every single day. And you get varying degrees of it. So there are some days where that's a flare, it's in full swing. And there are other days when it's kind of in the background, and you're sort of in remission and whatnot. And you're just feeling off all the time. You're never feeling quite healthy. The symptoms are hugely varied. Joint pain and fevers and headaches and all that are also quite common. Sometimes that joint pain develops into more, like what it has done with me. But yeah, mostly it has to do with just like general gut issues that normally for a normal person would pass. For us, it doesn't. And unfortunately, it also causes damage while we're having those symptoms.
What medication, treatments, or alternative therapy have helped you the most?
None. Unfortunately. That's not the same for everyone. I know that sounds really like blunt. None. Every Crohn's patient, especially with Crohn's, every patient is different. Some medications work really well, others don't. There are some people you'll see, they have entire like social media followings about how they cured themselves with their diet, or they went on this magical supplement that did this, and a lot of the time it is a fad. Unfortunately, it's just not true. It is an autoimmune issue. It's actually got nothing to do with diet, Crohn's disease. It has to do with your immune system, and they haven't worked out a way to stop your immune system from malfunctioning like that. So a lot of the medications is basically to stave off surgery. And that's what they're designed to do, and to help you have a bit of better quality of life while you're dealing with all this stuff. But for the most part, it doesn't really help me, unfortunately. They've had a bit of a hard time with my medications. So that's not the same for everyone. That's just my own personal experience.
How long have you been a patient with chronic illness?
My whole life. Yeah, since I was a kid. So it was mental health when I was younger, then eating disorders and mental health when I was a teenager and a young adult. And then, I also used to be a drug addict. I was a drug addict for a long time, for a couple of years. And then, moved on into the Crohn. So I've been sick pretty much my whole life in one form or another, either mental, physical, or both.
How has chronic illness, pain impacted your life?
Well, it's kind of hard to answer that question because it changes over time. There are some times in my life where I just can't do anything. I'm just too sick. I can't even get out of bed. I can't function properly. So I guess a part of it is not being able to do what everyone else can do. When I used to be able to do it, it's really, really hard to adjust from who I was to who I am now. So it has a huge impact, chronic health. It completely sidelines everything you do. You have to incorporate that chronic health into your entire life. That's the thing. So it's very difficult, unfortunately, to navigate all of that and to readjust and get back into things.
Can you run through a typical day?
Pardon?
Can you run through what your typical day is?
I don't really have a typical day. I don't know. Most of it's just YouTube at the moment. Like I said to you before we hopped on, this is my third live stream today, and after this, I'm hopping on to a fourth one. Like crazy busy. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of it is just guesswork. I think every day is different. So some days I can power through absolutely everything and be really productive. Other days I just do my live stream and then I go back to bed. And I just watch movies and all. I did that yesterday. Yesterday I did my live streams and I went back to bed and watched Lord of the Rings. Like I just chilled out, did nothing, was on my phone a bit, but just switched off. So there's some days I'll be at the computer for like 12 hours doing work, doing those sort of things. Other days I'm in bed just resting.
Do you find there is enough support for individuals living with chronic illness?
There is support out there, but it's not always easily accessible. It's one of the reasons why I started my channel is so, some people don't know what kind of support they need, what they need to do or where they need to go to help themselves. So it's part of where other channels like me, other people like me are starting to come onto social media and to have these conversations. Yeah, so we can have those connections, we can help connect people. But yeah, when it comes to healthcare and whatnot, it is a bit 50-50. Some places do have some great support systems, some of them don't. It really depends on what you have and where you are, I think. Yeah.
What's a common misconception about chronic illness sufferers?
There are too many to explain. There are way too many. I think one of the biggest ones would be, the fact that a lot of us don't look that sick. We don't have like a physical deformity of some kind. So that's where the whole "you don't look that sick" thing comes in. A lot of us who have chronic illness, a lot of it's hidden. It's mental health, physical health, it's all internal. And we either hide it or it is hidden. You don't see it. So we do get some judgment. I've had some friends that drive a car and they park in a disabled spot and they get so much flack for it. It's like, you don't look that sick. I'm like, I've actually got like 8 chronic health problems and I just came from the hospital. Like, why are you judging me? Because there are people, unfortunately, who do that and they're not sick and they abuse certain things that we have. But yeah, I don't know. I think that would be one of the biggest ones, one of the biggest misconceptions, that normally people assume that there is a physical attribute that will indicate there's a chronic health problem. But in a lot of cases, there's not, especially like mine, as you're looking at me now. Do I look that sick to you? Do I look like I've got 8 chronic health issues? Like, yeah, it's one of those things. Be very careful. Ask the question instead of just assuming. Ask the question instead, like, should you be parking there? Normally a person will go, well, yes, actually, I've got arthritis. I can't walk that far. And boom, you've got understanding. You can move on. Yeah.
Do you ever feel stigmatized with the diagnosis of chronic illness?
I kind of don't care, to be honest. Like, you can say what you want. I tend to make jokes about myself, so that kind of diffuses anyone else that tries to take like a cheap shot at me about, like, for a Crohn's patient, for example, the biggest thing is about bathrooms. We have a very strong relationship with the toilet because we're constantly in the bathroom. We have very erratic bowel movements. I'm sorry, this is probably a bit too TMI for a lot of people, but this is Crohn's disease. So we do get some jokes or some jabs or that sort of thing about bathroom habits. But to be honest, like I said, I really don't care anymore. I think if I did care too much, I wouldn't be able to do my channel because I hear stigmas and all that every single day. I choose not to listen to it. I just get on with it, to be honest. Yeah.
How has chronic illness impacted your financial health?
Pretty badly, because I can't work like everyone else. I can't do what everyone else does. I haven't worked for over 6 months now. I've been at home. I've been on Centrelink, which is a benefit that we have in Australia. And because I don't qualify, and this is irritating, I don't qualify for disability just yet, but I'm also not fit to work. So I'm stuck on this smaller payment, which just covers the bills, basically, just covers everything. And I actually have to have the support of my family to help me pay my own bills and to buy food even. Yeah, so it's another reason why I used this opportunity. Instead of being miserable in my bedroom for 6 months, I decided to start this YouTube channel. And I've been considering doing it for about a year, doing this channel. And then I had all this free time. I couldn't work. I was stuck at home. I couldn't walk properly. So I was like, cool, I'm going to start my YouTube channel now. Hopefully I can turn this into a bit of a home business and work from home and help people with chronic health while I do it.
How has your chronic illness affected those around you?
I think it causes my family a lot of stress, unfortunately. You know, I hate it every time I have to pick up the phone and call my family and friends, go, I'm in the hospital again, and no, we don't know why. We don't know what's going to happen. It's extremely stressful because they go through the whole, they can't do anything to help the chronic health. There's no food, there's no, you know, there's no special sort of thing we can do to try and manage it. It's literally, I've just got to tough it out a lot of the time and just push through it. So it can be very tough, but my family are incredibly supportive. And especially now that I'm using my chronic health in what I feel is a positive way, and I'm online talking about it and helping other people, my family are completely behind me to the point where they crash my live streams. Like, it's really funny. They did that with one of my live streams the other week when I was with Pusha Studios. Ksenia and Andrew on, and mum and dad just walked through the door, just opened the door, just walked straight on through. I was at their house at the time, and they just didn't even knock, just walked in and, hello, who are you talking to? Hello. It's like, well, these are my parents. There we go. Yep, hello. And Andrew and my dad were talking about music and instruments and all that. So Ksenia are like, fine then, we're just going to go get ourselves a coffee. We're going to go over here. You know, so my family are hugely supportive of what I do. And I'm even now helping my dad start his own YouTube channel, which is pretty cool.
What changes do you need to make to your diet because of chronic illness?
It's a daily struggle. It's a daily struggle, constantly hopping between things I can and can't eat. You know, a lot of research goes into it. And honestly, most of it's trial and error. Something that works for me won't work for another Crohn's patient. You just got to try the foods. And if you get a reaction, don't eat them and move on to the next food to try. Yeah. All good?
Yeah, sorry, I just lost my question for a minute then. Sorry, I wrote them down, just get them back, sorry.
That's so good. So what inspired you to ask me on for an interview?
Oh, I was just saw your YouTube channel, yeah, and I thought that it would be an interesting interview to interview you about your story and share your story. And
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so do you have any other questions for me? Because I have to push off in about 5 minutes.
Okay. What would you like others to know about chronic illness?
That there are so many more people out there suffering with chronic illness than you probably think. And I just did a video the other day where it's estimated half the population of Australia alone has a chronic illness, either mental or physical. That's 11 million people just in Australia alone that are fighting the battle with chronic illness. So don't assume anything. You never know which one in your friendship group or social group may be battling something. The best thing you can do is ask the question. Ask how they are. If they let you know, just be supportive. And if you don't know what to say, that's perfectly okay. Do some research, educate yourself.
what do you think needs to be done in order for there to be a better understanding of chronic health patients?
This would be the part where most of people I know about chronic health will tell you that other people should be more aware of it. They should talk about it more in the news, or they should do this. Like medical professionals, like they'll kind of project it like everyone else should already know. And for me, I disagree. I think we do know about chronic health. I just think we don't know how bad it can be for the individual patient. So I think it's our responsibility as a chronic health sufferer to tell your story and to talk about it. You never know who that's going to help, whether it's someone who has a chronic illness or not, or someone who may be getting sick but hasn't been diagnosed yet. So if we tell our story and if we raise awareness, we can help support the community to better understand us and how they can help us.
Okay, that's all the questions I have, and so thanks for coming on. And if you guys haven't checked out that current stick, then the link I've just posted in live chat now to our YouTube channel.
Cool. Thank you so much for having me on.
Okay, thanks for coming.
All right. Thank you very much.
Bye.